see the man walk towards the center of the tavern. He doesn't say anything, he just slightly nods. All the other tables bow deeply when he does that and take their seats and immediately go back to their food and drinks and whatever they were doing before this happened. Without exchanging any words, this man walks back to your table and takes the main seat. Right, well, that was unexpected. Right, you see, he keeps his hand on the spot that got hit, rubbing it a little bit. Ruhana pipes up first. Logan, what happened to your eye? Your eye? You didn't react at all. You're blind, right? Just in one eye, Hannah. It's fine, don't worry about it. Well, I believe there are some people at the table that I do not recognize. Right, well, for those of you that may know me by name, I am Logan Mats. It's a pleasure to meet you. I am the leader of Noble Moon. Apart from his sheet, which is information that all of you would know, what you would know about Noble Moon in general is it was found during the Warrior King's reign by his first daughter Selena. She was the one that formed Noble Moon. But 20 years ago, during the battle that raged on with the neighboring kingdom, both the king and his daughter died, and that's when Logan Mats took up Noble Moon, and he's been the leader ever since. After that, unfortunately, from a respected Night Order, because a lot of changes happened to the country, with the current ruler being more inclined to work with the church, the church always viewed both Noble Moon and the Warrior King as threats to their sovereignty. So after falling from grace, as you can imagine, from noble knights, Noble Moon became mercenaries. So they kind of got their hands dirty and their reputation was pretty much ruined. For the last 10 years they've been pretty much inactive and have very rarely met. This is the first time that all Noble Moon members have been together in a decade.
Oof.
Some of you who have some underground connections would actually know that Noble Moon, even to this day, has a lot of negativity associated with their name. And they have quite a few enemies.
Okay, so I would actually know who they are.
We all know who they are.
But they have many names. In this town, probably their biggest enemy would be a group called the Iron Legion, which is also a band of mercenaries that, shall we say, during the time where Noble Moon was acting as mercenaries, the Iron Legion was the second biggest mercenary group around, and they were basically eating off of their scraps, because the Noble Moon mercenaries were literally leaving them in the dust. Yeah, well, I've been kind of busy the last couple of years. Henry pipes up. I'll say, you kept up in touch with me the most, and yet I haven't heard from you in, about 5 years? He nods. Yeah, like I said, I've been busy. Like, what have you been doing? He says, Oh, I just came back from the other side. Other side of what? The portal. And as he says that, you see everybody like looks extremely shocked when he says that. He just implied that he was in the demon world.
Is that some sort of slang, or?
You see that all the other masters are stunned and not saying a word. They're just trying to process what he just said.
I
How
guess
did
not.
you get across the demon
Nope,
portal?
I was on the other side. I was doing some recon.
Interesting. That's very impressive.
Impressive. From what I heard, it's near impossible. Isn't that right? She looks towards Hannah.
As you say that, Ruhana pipes up. Nobody has lived in the demon world more than a few weeks. Any soldier that was sent there by the Sarkanians either came back with severe mental and physical issues, or they died on that side. I can see that you're quite confused, but by what I'm saying telling to you. We will get into details of that later. More importantly, he taps his finger on the table. I want to know why there are people on this table which I do not recognize. I specifically called my team here. I do not remember asking for any extra people. Who are you? He looks towards all of you because he's trying to understand who you are and why you're here.
I'm gonna put my hand and say, "Oh, Shirokawa, I'm her daughter." She points her thumb towards Hannah.
Logan raises an eyebrow. Oh, I'm surprised. Well, congratulations. She's not really my daughter, I just adopted her. Oh.
That makes me your daughter. Don't you love me? She's like playing up. Mother, why?
Of course I do, dear. Now hush. You don't understand. It's complicated.
I stay with Roland.
Really? You're staying with... Yes, we went over that already. Can we not do this again? Okay, Roland, if you're gonna be like that. Logan immediately gets angry. You mind telling me why all members of Noble Moon are here? I specifically asked for a discreet meeting with just the 5 of us. Does this seem discreet to you? Logan, most of them haven't seen you in over a decade. Come on, they have a right to be here just as much as we. Yes, and now everybody in the fucking country knows that we're having this meeting, Roland. Are you really the person I need to teach what discreet means? And Logan just takes a deep breath. Right, well, you said your name is Vira, dear?
Yes, my name is Vira.
Right, he looks towards the right side where Gordon is and sees you, Alyssia. And you are?
Alyssia catches herself, lands at Gordon, and then looks back to Logan. Alyssia Lancaster.
At this point, Roland interjects. Didn't you say something? Never mind. Because you clearly gave him the wrong name.
Oh, of course I did.
But he just drops it. Instead of asking you any follow-up questions, you see that Logan is staring like deeply into your eyes, like he's judging your character right now. Without saying anything else, he just moves on. And you over there with Henry, I suppose you're a mage?
Of course not. A librarian. I see him a smile.
He looks clearly unamused by your tone.
So you on the other
At
side
this
of the
point,
portal?
Henry, like... Well... different. Though you didn't answer my question. Who are you?
Oh, Vendrik. Armed, I'm sure.
Clearly, he says with an unamused face. Well then, let's address the elephant in the room, I guess. Yes, I was on the other side. And as you can imagine, it wasn't exactly a fucking cakewalk. Luckily, I managed to make some friends on the other side, so they made my survival a little bit easier.
Friends. With demons.
Yes,
What kind?
exactly. Well... different types, really. There's too many demons, and making racial differences is a bit hard for me. They are a lot more varied than us. Some of their races are short, others are long. Some have magic, others don't. It's complicated, really. And I'm not an astute person when it comes to research like that. I just remember them by names, that's about it.
And those names were... leaning in even more with my book out.
Just a sec, private messages. He places a few small items on the table. A small bracelet with a pearl-like gem right in the middle, which I actually had a picture prepared, but not anymore, sorry. And with it, he also places a map and a few other trinkets and pieces of parchments and knickknacks, and says, right, as you're quite aware, we're not doing so great, humanity as a whole. The demons are gearing up for a massive assault. It won't be long before they're ready to make their final push, and when that happens, no matter what the church tells you, we can't stop them. Not in a war. So, we are going to have to fight them in another manner. He looks towards you, Alyssia, specifically, and says, we are gonna have to assassinate a certain someone.
Wait. Alyssia looks a little bit surprised since he didn't know her, but still looks at her when he says that.
Since you look quite surprised, he's gonna follow up. Don't be so shocked, dear. You are still young. You make a lot of mistakes. The way you carry yourself, the way you nonchalantly lie. You
The way
clearly
the hand
have
keeps going under
much
the
to learn.
table? Or am I the only one that noticed that?
No, Vira also noticed that. She's just
I
not
sit
saying
back.
anything.
I can also see it in your eyes. You don't flinch, do you? You think you can kill anything and anyone, don't you?
Alicia's mask falls, and she's quite a bit less dispassionate than she's... quite a little bit more dispassionate than she's been up to this point. Well, anything that is living can die, right?
That is true. But you're not good at hiding your poker face. I shot in the dark, dear. I wasn't sure.
You were close enough.
It seems you would do well to take some lessons from our friend Roland over there. You wouldn't know it under normal circumstances, but he has more than 2,000 assassinations behind his back.
Vira nods.
It's grown since I last met you, Roland. Nah, I'm mostly retired nowadays. Sadly, Vira doesn't wanna pick up in my line of work, so I think my secrets are gonna be wasted. He just sighs in a very dramatic way.
I'm not much for assassinations.
Which is a shame. You have a much better poker face than your friend Alyssia here.
Oh,
Yes, I see that you've done a quite better job at hiding your secret.
then what would that be?
Are you sure you wanted me to say it out loud here?
She's gonna pause. Because she's not sure if he knows exactly what it is, but she's not
yeah,
sure
I mean,
if
he
she
just
wants
said
to
that
risk
he
it.
took a shot in the dark with Alyssia. Maybe he's bluffing again.
Okay, she's gonna call his bluff. Yes, what is it?
Roland takes out something from his pocket. It's a small gem. It's rather round in shape, so it easily rolls. And he rolls it on the table towards you. And as the gem is slowly rolling towards you, you feel great uneasiness and discomfort inside you.
I'm gonna do my best to
What will you
mask this on my face, and I'm just going to calmly take the gem in my hand and hold it.
As you try to touch the gem, you immediately feel a burst of pain and shock run from your body. Like, you feel a strong urge that you do not want to touch that thing.
Alright, I'm just going to casually take my hand back and set my hands on my lap and act very nonchalant, just kind of staring at it. Keeping my composure this entire time.
Clearly, observing you and your reactions, Logan doesn't say anything else. He just leans over and picks up the small gem from the table and puts it back in his pocket. Right then. Can we get back to the matter of hand? The matter at hand. I already said what our objective is. Now we need a target. And unfortunately, we don't know nothing about it. That's the problem. Royland says, well, do you at least have anything else you can give us? Like, who are we assassinating? Logan pauses for a moment. We're going to assassinate the Overlord. Since everybody is taking a moment to process that Logan Mats, the leader of Noblemoon, just said we're gonna assassinate the Overlord, you know, just the most powerful demon in existence, no big deal. Everybody is taking a moment to process that, so in the meantime, he... I'm sorry, is this conversation too boring for you? He says that to Theron, who nobody apparently has noticed because of all the commotion, but has slowly been going into dreamland at the edge of the table.
Damn, got to before me. I'm gonna poke Theron.
What?
Important things.
I spend all these days getting here, dragging my way through, and all for this hassle.
Let me take a guess. You're here because of Albert.
What gave it away?
Gee, I don't know. And he says that as he looks at your sleepy mannerism.
Alyssia looks to Theron. Maybe I can help you with that.
Oh?
No, at
What do
Theron.
you mean by that?
Well, my master will help you, like Gordon helped you earlier, right?
Yes, I suppose.
Well, I'm, not an expert like Gordon, but maybe I can do something that, will make you a little bit more alert.
I think by this point, it's more of a habit than a necessity. Once again, I would blame Albert. It's been a long time that I've been with. So I suppose the habit, for better or for worse, rubbed off on me.
Well, do you want me to help you or not?
I think I am fine, at least for now. I haven't needed any help with it so far.
I can poke him if he drifts off again.
Oh well.
This is a good example. Logan picks up after your small exchange. We are here to do a job. Why did you bring these kids here? He looks towards the masters. We're not a nursery.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, I just interjects. Do you guys have a habit? I mean, he gestures around to basically each one of them has somebody with them. A young person with them. Was this agreed upon before we went out, or?
You see that weird awkwardness is back, by the way, and now you're starting to get the picture why. Clearly nobody knew things were gonna end up this way.
Really? This is coincidence? Wow.
I simply met Albert quite few years ago, and due to circumstances, I ended up staying with him. We had intentions of both arriving here, but shortly before we set out, Albert fell under the weather, shall we say, and said that I should proceed here without him, and if there was anything important that I can come back later and pass it along.
Which brings us to the real reason of why you're here. Gordon finally picks up the pace after Theron says that. We are getting cold, Logan. We all are well aware that the reason you contacted us was for something important, otherwise you wouldn't have bothered after all these years. I mean, look at us. Well, the ladies aside, we're not exactly in our prime anymore. You see where I'm going with this? Logan just shakes his head. Sitter, I need warriors, not children.
I'm not sure about anybody else, but we're probably the second best choice you're ever gonna get. We're, in my case, first choice. She's getting on in years.
Is
And
that a
I
fact?
don't suppose Albert would be as useful as you expect at his age. Hence the reason he decided to bring me along.
This is absurd.
I mean, I'm not about to let my old woman here just go out there and drop dead of being too old. I have to go myself.
You
Alyssia
just...
pokes Gordon in the side. I don't know if you noticed, Gordon, but our lines of work are kind of different.
Yes, that is... okay, I'm gonna address them one at a time because it got confusing real fast. Hopefully this is gonna be a one-time thing. It's not gonna be a huge conversation like this every fucking time. Jesus. Right, so, first, let's go with Alyssia. Well, dear, I'm quite aware that you and I handle things, shall we say, differently. But I see nothing wrong with that. People can be diverse, and depending on how the job goes, like, you're good at assassinations, I'll give you that. And Logan just said that we need to assassinate someone. Are you not the perfect person for this job, after all? With your talents.
I suppose. But you would obviously fill the role of a frontline fighter, and that's not exactly me.
That is true. I do feel like with all your sneaking and covert things, you're missing quite a lot on the battlefield. You should try to experience it from the front lines once in a while. Get a different perspective. I'm sure that will teach you a lot, both as a warrior and as an individual. Well, I never said you shouldn't be careful. As Gordon laughs, Ruhana didn't miss your earlier comment, Iris, and you feel her hand on your thigh and it's about to break your bone. What did you call me?
Like, I called you a lovely woman who could clearly handle this, but I might as well go in your stead.
Clearly a little more favorable response, so Ruhana, let's go of you.
Ow. Like, whoopsie.
Roland at this point pipes up. Logan, keep in mind, they're not much younger. In fact, I believe we actually were younger when we first started working.
Wait, what?
They're not that young. You call them kids, but they are still kids. Look at them. They act like kids. They talk like kids. They are not fit for our line of work. Tell me, how many of you have taken a life? You excluded, my dear. He looks towards you, Alyssia. How many of you know what it's like? How many of you know what it's like to take the life, not of a criminal, but of an innocent man, of a good man? How many of you have watched the life drain out of their face, their eyes? Can you do it? Can you do it for any reason, or even without a reason?
My hand half goes down, but still stays up.
Mine's also kind of like a fourth of the way up.
What do you think Albert taught me? What do you expect of him as a fighter? What do you think he would have passed on? Sometimes the job is despicable. It sucks. That doesn't mean the job doesn't have to be done.
What's your name, kid?
Theron.
I noticed you have some interesting tattoos on you. You're not a local.
You could say that.
Then I make my point differently to you. I don't need savages. I need disciplined fighters. Are you that?
Once again, I state, what do you think Albert taught me? You know him apparently much better than I from the way that you talk. What do you think he would pass on as traits for a fighter?
Clearly none of his charisma, that's for sure. I hope your sword arm is better than your tongue.
Well, perhaps we'll be lucky enough to see.
By the looks of it, very soon. There's a commotion outside. You still haven't picked up on it? Nobody has passive perception over 20, right?
No, mine is 19.
No.
Ooh, perfect.
Mine is 17.
Mine's 11.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep in mind the highest one because that's the one that's gonna matter. 19. Good.
Yeah, you've basically got to have 20 wisdom and perception trained.
Right, just a second so I can pick up with the chat as well.
Yeah, even if I had flipping 20 wisdom, which you can't get out creation, is actually you could if you went for it, but there's no way I could make it because I don't have expertise like some fucking people.
I've got 20 intelligence. Why haven't you got 20 wisdom? You basic bitch.
My wisdom is 12, and I don't have perception trained.
Ah, okay.
He's trying.
He doesn't perceive very well.
So as soon as Logan says those words, you see that Anri claps her hands and a small mist begins to materialize between her fingers, slowly shaping an image. You recognize the environment as the area around the tavern. You see that discreetly being used very loosely, a huge band of people are gathering, all wearing full plate mail and heavy equipment. They're not exactly the stealthiest of individuals, and there's quite a few of them. The only reason you haven't picked up on it yet is because they're still approaching the tavern and not that close yet. If you have to make a rough estimation, you'd say they're between 60 and 100 people strong. That's a lot of people.
Well, it appears we have a fight on our hands.
I don't think this is what you would call a fight. This is closer to a massacre.
Yeah, but let's try not being too hard on them. Come on. Is there a second floor, by the way?
The tavern does indeed have a second floor.
Ah, cool. So I take it some of you have, like, range or anything? You at least throw something?
I can deal with this.
Anybody who can throw things or does your little magic stuff actually just goes upstairs.
Alyssia raises
You'll be
a
safer.
As soon as Experta, answers my whisper.
Alyssia, no, you didn't bring that stuff with you. You don't have that kind of gear with you right now, sadly.
Great. And in that case, Alyssia raises her hand. Well, I have 2 daggers. That's not really gonna get us very far.
That's alright, stay sitting down.
Well, can you throw them?
Walking towards the upstairs now. Are you coming?
As you guys are progressing your conversation and about ready to get up from the table, Logan taps up again. Are you about done?
What? What's wrong?
You wasted 2 minutes right now, doing absolutely nothing, just talking. I'm assuming that you have never worked as part of a team, have you?
Not together, no. I've
Are
been
you
throughout my
assuming
entire life
that
in...
team? Because from your arrogance and way of speaking, I'm assuming that you have never fought with anybody else by your side.
Never... Not really.
At this point, Roland pipes up again. Come on, Logan, at least give them a chance. Logan rolls his eyes and lets out a sigh. Alright then. Here's what we're gonna do. We, and I mean Noblemoon, are gonna handle what's happening outside, because this is clearly our fault and we take care of our own messes. Don't we, Royland? You see Royland kind of lower his head a little bit, because clearly this is his fault. That's the only, he's clearly the one that, you know, ran his mouth, and that's why these people are here. There's no other reason. We are gonna handle this as a team. You are gonna watch and you're gonna learn.
You mean stay out of a fight?
Exactly.
I look towards Rohanna.
She doesn't say anything.
You don't want to see what we can do?
Are you questioning me already?
No, it's all boss.
Anybody else have anything to say?
Well, I suppose we shouldn't waste time here. We should move along.
Good. Now, okay, let's get this done. Royland, yep, I'm on it. As he says that, Royland takes out a piece of long steel rope from one of his pockets and tosses it over to Rohanna. He then puts his hood on, which seems to be enchanted with some kind of magic, because it immediately hides his face in a veil that you can't perceive his face through it. And he starts heading out towards one of the back ends of the tavern to slip out one of the windows. Andre is still observing the battlefield outside and the people setting up with her magic. Finishes making a few talismans, and she starts attaching them to the steel rope. As soon as she is done, you see Andre cast disperse magic on the item, and it immediately becomes semi-transparent, at which point she tosses it over to Gordon. And with everybody ready, Logan stands up from the table and they immediately start following him. Okay, let's do this. And all the 5 members of Noble Moon, the Masters, immediately start heading outside the tavern. Will you guys follow them?
I am.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna
if they're gonna watch, we can't watch
step
from
up onto
here.
the roof.
Well, I'm not going to leave the tavern. I'm just going to walk to a window that can oversee what's going on.
I'm gonna go to the door at least.
They said that you can go with them so you can watch. They just told you not to interfere, so...
Yeah.
I'm gonna misty step up onto the roof and just lay down, hands behind my back, and have a step.
Well, I mean, if somebody goes to, like, cheap shot Roland, there's no way I'm not smiting his ass. Not Roland's ass, but the guy that's gonna kill him.
Both are fine. He'll survive.
Someone sneaks up on Roland, you kill Roland. Wait, what?
Only I get to kill him.
As you step out, the scene outside is quite intimidating. You see that actually a few warning shot arrows have already been shot at the tavern. They were supposed to be lit on fire, but for some reason, the tavern never caught on fire. Their armor seems to be more a mix and match kind of deal. You see that they clearly don't have any proper sets. These are... you could consider them scavengers. You recognize, Alyssia, you recognize one of their banners, because these idiots, even though they came to kill people, for some reason decided it was a good idea to bring a banner. These guys are what's known as the Iron Roses, so they have some very deep connections with Noble Moon. As I said, they used to be just bottom feeders in the glory days of Noble Moon. Which apparently, yeah, they're still bottom feeders. If you're judging by their organization, numbers, and equipment. That being said, though, they should not be underestimated. They've brought quite a large force here. The only reason no commotion was raised is because, again, the tavern is pretty much on the edge of town. And luckily the guards seem to be like, fuck this shit, I'm out. There's no guards around. If they were patrolling the streets, they clearly wanted to keep clear of this mess, whatever's going on. As soon as Logan steps out, he immediately raises his voice loud enough to boom over the rowdy mob. Alright, calm down ladies, no need to make a scene. We heard your tin asses a mile away, what the hell do you want? One of the men steps up with a clearly angry look on his face and tries to match Logan's authoritative voice, clearly failing. How dare you insult the Iron Legion, you cur? Iron Legion. Noble Moon gets together for the first time in years and they send a budget army with a name every mercenary group that's halfway decent will mock you for. As far as slaps in the face go, this one really stinks, let me tell you. Talk tough while you can. This place is surrounded and we were paid good money. You ran out of luck the moment we took this job. Logan just sighs. Yeah, I wouldn't brag about knowing basic math considering you call yourself a legion and yet you brought less than 100 men. You seriously don't get it, do you? You were not sent here to kill us. You were sent here so others can gouge if we are still as good as we were back in the day. You're literally the only ones dumb enough to take this job. You're walking sacrifices who are about to die for pocket change, dipshit. You see the other guy, clearly a vein's about to pop on his head. He's about to start screaming, but Logan doesn't care anymore because he bought enough time. That entire conversation was pointless. He was just waiting for a signal. You see that the amulets around their necks all flare up. Apparently, Roland has used this time quite advantageous. That actually makes the first move. While the men are getting ready to make their first move, Roland beats them to it. You see that a bunch of arrows fly from the side of the battlefield from a nearby tree. Some archers in the back of the lines of the Iron Legion immediately fall dead. By the time they regroup and realize what's happening, a few people are charging for the tree, only to have a few explosive traps remove their legs from their bodies. Roland is no longer there. This small confusion quickly turns into this heavant battlefield as the men try to charge forward. However, Gordon steps up. You see in his fingers he's holding the ends of the iron rope that was prepared earlier, traps them, and through the talismans that were attached to it, lightning begins to surge, frying them alive in their armor. As the men scream in pain, the one in charge earlier starts to scream for the archers to make their move, but none of their arrows can get past the web of electricity. The next moment, Anri has cast her first spell. You see that the archers in the back row lighting up with a strange light. And as soon as Roland lets out one arrow, it pierces one of the archers straight through the skull. All the archers fall dead. Vendrik, you would recognize that's a spell that connects people. It shares their experiences. In this case, it shares pain. And since one of the guys got his brain skewered, all of them instantly died and dropped dead. With no archers left, the men are left to their shields and swords. They slowly hack away through the iron web, only to have to meet up with Ruhana, who steps forward. Instead of engaging them, however, she does a very intricate dance right in front of them, one that you would see at temples. The talismans detach from the rope in front of them and immediately begin to circle and dance over the Iron Legion. The next moment, you hear lightning. It crackles, mist begins to form, and a huge burst of water begins to pour down on top of the men, quickly turning the already muddied ground into a swamp. Henry once again snaps her fingers, and all the mud that these heavy legionnaires are trapped in immediately turns to stone, trapping them in place and unable to move. The men panic with their feet stuck in stone and their weapons also. They begin to curse and shout. They're all trapped in place, unable to do anything. At that moment, Logan raises his hand and everybody stops. He then turns around and looks towards the rest of the party. Alright, rookies, show me what you've got. And at that point he nods towards Andre, who again claps her hands. The stone that had trapped all the legionnaires disappears and turns back to mud. The legionnaires quickly begin to pick up their weapons and regain their ranks, and they're shouting for everybody to get in line and to attack again. Logan, who has his back towards them and is looking towards you, just says, "Let's see if you've got what it takes to fight as a team." And
Vira nods.
With that, all the masters head back towards the tavern, leaving you guys alone outside with the pissed off legionnaires.
Exactly
I was just
how
gonna
many
go.
of them are there yet?
We had a
alive?
plan. We had a plan.
Thanks to the frying net and the trap that Royland and Henry did, a good half of them are dead. There's about 50 or so legionnaires left, and all of them are dazzled in water and mud, quickly picking up their weapons, but they're still very uneven on their feet. Their equipment is heavy and the ground is muddy.
Alright, so
They're like elephants in
Are
a
they
China
trying to
shop
form
right
up
now.
into any sort of formation?
Yes, they're trying to form up.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that really is.
yeah, but yeah,
That was unfortunate.
I'm gonna
Not
turn
even-
to
That's-
Paul and say, how good are you at fighting?
His
Stay
name is not
behind
Paul.
me.
stay behind the
Okay,
big
I'm
guy
going
with the
to,
tattoos.
I'm gonna smirk at him, and I'm going to use this. It's enlarge.
No,
I'm gonna make
you're
them
gonna
larger.
roll the initiative, first of all.
Okay.
Let's
But
see your
yeah.
initiative rolls, people.
Ah, shit. Oh wait, you can't add us to the turn order because our tokens are not.
Holy
Everybody
crap.
grab your pictures.
Yep, so I'm gonna add those for you, don't worry.
You take an initiative, Steve.
Yeah, I've got lots of decks too. I'm just fast. But I just got to roll.
Then it's possible to have, so you must have a feat.
Yeah,
I
I took
just-
alert.
Let's see, I get advantage.
Oh, I have alert too.
13 for me.
Right, Alyssia, you're the first out of the gate. What do you do?
Well, since readying my sword is full action, or is an action? Fuck, full actions, half action. Yeah. Anyway. And I stay behind Theron because, you know, meat shield.
Okay. Right now, all the soldiers are busy not only getting... they're super confused right now because of everything that happened. They're picking up their weapons, they're trying to get back information. You have a clear advantage on them. If you want to take it's basically like a surprise round. Like, they can't do pretty much anything right now. This is your chance to make a move on them.
Well, that would mean I would have to get into melee with them, and I would be caught out if I did that first.
will not be necessary, because you hear a whistle coming from the side of the tavern. You see Gordon standing there, and he actually throws you a bow and some arrows.
Oh, brilliant. Well, fuck the swords then.
Though where he got them from, you have no idea.
Wait, is it my bow and arrow? Or is it just a random bow and arrow? Or bow and arrows? Oh. Wait, where the fuck did he keep that?
It's yours. I know, right? You're gonna have to ask him later.
It's like, I hid them at my ass. Anyway,
They smell.
I don't fucking know.
You just didn't notice when he took them out.
Well then, I suppose we're firing one arrow. I have no idea how to do that though. Oh wait, I was roll. Was like 1d10. No wait, it rolls automatically. Right. Well, is any one of them in any way special, or are they just like random mooks, all of them?
No, they're all random looks. Like the guy that spoke up seems to be sort of in command, but he's also got his head up his ass right now and panicking about what just happened.
Wait, did you say I'm surprising them?
Yep, you have an advantage on them.
I auto crit on them in that case.
You wanna what?
I auto crit on surprise targets.
Ooh, nice, do it. Roll me damage.
So I'm going to get, yeah, that's a hit. So wait. Oh, well, fuck, let's make it a sneak attack as well. Because why the fuck not? So,
Well,
right.
it's not. What are the conditions for a sneak attack?
Let's see.
If they're considered surprised. So
and then it
surprise
works.
rounds are.
Let's see.
It works.
Actually, one. No, you can against anyone you have an advantage on the attack roll against, or if if they have an enemy within 5 feet that isn't
How's the
incapacitated.
music quite
If
you know?
you go first in the attack order, if you go before an enemy that you attack, you also have a sneak attack.
That would be
Is the
actually
music loud,
assassinate
by
or
the way, or
whatever.
is it fine?
So let's see. That's gonna be
Yeah, double the
Well.
damage twice.
yeah. Must be 12d6 I think plus 3.
So guys, how's the music? Is it fine? Is it too loud? Too...
We can adjust it.
Okay, good.
Well, you can adjust the music.
Didn't know you were playing music.
You gotta reload, man.
Okay.
Yeah, roll
I mean,
20.
We
Bullshit.
can adjust it by ourselves though in roll 20.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, we just adjusted, so it's not bad.
Alyssia, your quick fingers immediately fire off a few arrows, seemingly at random, but soon their landing is followed up by screams of pain. A few fighters from the front line, you count at least 3 or 4, immediately drop dead. You manage to hit that just exact right spot between the helm and the shoulder armor. And since they were so disheveled and in a panic, they were not protecting themselves at all. They immediately dropped dead. These guys were easy pickings, and you just took full advantage of that.
Yay.
Hey! What? Twice?
You got the next.